Hello. Hello, my friends. Doodly-doo, doodly-doo, doodly-doo. Excuse me as I get all my preparations in preparation. Oh, we got a 23-second ad. Excellent. I won't be able to see myself till after this 23-second ad. So hold off on the comments just for a moment. I guess I could just do this. It's not that big of a deal. Sorry. All right. Lucy. What's going on, Lucy? All right. Forgive my formalities here. And we are... Let me see that beautiful face. AKA me. There it is. All right. Looking mediocre. All right. I hope everybody is doing all right. If you see me look to the side, that's because I have my TV to my right now, and that's going to be the way that I read the comments. So I just want to say hello to everybody. I hope everybody's doing just fine and dandy today. There was a time I was both fine and dandy, but no one was around to see it. That's an old Carlin joke. All right, so I have a tower, a leaning tower of movies here. I've got one package to unbox. I did some selling off of DVDs to fund some Blu-Rays, and you'll see what this is here in a moment. And before we start, I just want to say thank you to everybody that comes in weekly for these sporadic live streams. I do one a week, but, you know, it's not a set schedule. It's hard for me right now. Warm Sunny, thank you for tuning in, says hello from Michigan. Got a lot of snow, closed schools. Yes, I've heard about the storm up north there. I'm down in North Carolina. It's cold here, but no snow. Very seldom do we get snow. We did get one snow this year, which was nice. But but yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the channel and want to see more live streams like this, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell for notifications. That bell will notify you as to when I do go live so that you guys could stream on in. And hit that thumbs up for me if you do enjoy these live streams. That helps me with the old algorithms, etc., etc. I have a bit of a sore throat here, so I'm not going to make this like an hour and a half long thing. It's probably going to be, you know, at most an hour. And so I thought I'd start off just showing you a couple of the games I picked up at the game shop. This is Gunstar Superheroes, which is a sequel to the Genesis game that I have cart only over there. I wish I had it in the box, which is a great game. What kind of stuff do you do on YouTube? I talk about movies primarily, but I also talk about other things sometimes, like video games and books, etc. Anything in the media realm. And right now I'm going to be going over a pickup. I just went on a thrifting trip in Fuquay Arena, and I'm going to go over all of the items that I found, talk about the ones that I'm keeping, the ones that I'm selling, etc. So I'm a big collector, Warm Sunny. I have over 10,000 movies physical in my collection. Probably 4,000 Blu-rays, 6,000 DVDs, and probably a couple hundred VHS, and then a couple thousand video games. So I'm quite the collector. Hello, Mike, my new mates. Yes, what's going on, Mr. Bob? Thank you so much for tuning in. Lucy says, in Germany, it was the coldest winter since a long time. Wow. Do you have Up movie? Yeah, of course I have Up. I've never seen Up. I tried to watch it back when I was in my early 20s, and I was watching it with a group of friends, and it was very emotional, and we were like, this isn't the best movie to watch with a group of, you know, dudes who were messed up on who knows what, alcohol and all sorts of things when I was younger. So the next thing I want to talk about briefly, because I know this doesn't interest everybody, but we're going to get to movies, don't worry. This is a game called First Contact Protocol, FCP. This is put out by Mod Retro. From what I understand, it's a GameStop company that's putting out physical game cartridges. And what that means is this is on an original Game Boy Color cartridge, and I could play this on a Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, or on my Game Boy Advance player on my GameCube. This is a really unique looking puzzle/adventure game where you're dealing with the first contact of some sort of alien species. And I hear this is a really cool one, and it's, I believe, exclusive to the Mod Retro kind of thing that they're doing. But these are really cool, and I have a couple more that I'll talk about in the future. But good on GameStop for doing something that fans want. Do you know YouTube is getting slower every day? A lot of videos on YouTube. Oh yeah, there's like 1 million per second or some ridiculous, unfathomable number. But all right, now we get to some of the weird VHS that I picked up, and there'll be more of these as well. from my shop. So, you know, I've taken dominion over the video or over the movie section at the video game shop that I manage for. The owner gave me free reign to sell movies how I saw fit to make profit for him and myself. And it's going very well. What's up, Perry fan? Haven't seen you in a while. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Terrifier film series. Yeah, I've seen Terrifier 1 and 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. I'm a little nervous to see 3. These movies really get under your skin in a visceral level. I'm not sure how much I love it. I enjoy it. I don't know if I enjoy it. It's something I'll talk about one day. You know, the extreme violence and the desensitization is something that I want to dig into, but not today. So, a couple weird ones. Part 4 is coming out. Yeah, I bet it is. I'm glad Leone is carving out a little slasher franchise. I think it's great. So I picked up these random VHS. One was called Memorial Day 2000, and I thought this was going to be a found footage film. This is just some crazy folks' footage of Memorial Day 2000. They were partying and lighting shit on fire. I mean, it was just like mayhem. This came out in the year 2000, but a guy brought it in, and I was like, I'm intrigued. I need to check what this is. And I finally found a VCR player, a VCR DVD combo, a VHS player DVD combo, at the Goodwill that is actually working, which is fantastic. Have I seen Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Guts? No, I haven't dug into those public domain horror movies yet. Do you know a channel on YouTube called Evan Media Archives who puts up Nickelodeon Disney? No, I'm not familiar with that. I don't use YouTube too much, if I'm being honest with you. I watch a couple people that I've been watching for like 20 years, and then I make my own content. This one was really cool. I watched this with a friend last night. Memorial Day and this one I watched with a friend who I knew would enjoy this kind of thing. This is from the early 90s, 92. It's called This Is Only a Test. This was aired in Philadelphia on like their cable broadcasting, and it was like a student documentary series, experimentation kind of thing about politics, war, culture war issues at the time, which are the same as now. It gets really old and tired. We just do the same thing forever and people think it's different. Gender issues and everyday social decay. So a lot of things that I am thinking about every single day, and this touched on a lot of things that and portrayed them in a very nascent way compared to where we are now, which is pretty developed. I won't go into it too much. British indie horror, that's right, based on public domain characters that, you know, went into the public domain recently. This was really cool, and this is the only time I collect VHS, as some of you guys probably know, is when the DVD or when the movie doesn't make it to DVD or streaming or Blu-ray. If it's exclusive to VHS is another way to say it. And this one, from what I can understand, is exclusive to VHS. I need to do a little bit more research, but this is a 1977 film called Rabbit Test. And it stars Billy Crystal, who gets apparently pregnant. So Eat Your Heart Out Jr. from, what, 94 or whatever it was. This came out in 77. So almost 20 years before it. And stars a very young Billy Crystal. Directed by Joan Rivers. And written by Joan Rivers, as well as starring in. So I have no idea what this is going to be about. It's got some good cast in it. Roddy McDowall, Jimmy Walker, Richard Deacon. Let's see, Billy Crystal, Peter Marshall. Yeah, it's got a solid 70s cast there. And the quote on the back, "Where do you buy maternity jockey shorts?" This is going to be something. This is going to be something else. A pregnant Billy Crystal movie. I mean, what the hell? I hear record albums are coming back. Vinyls, you should collect those. They are rare. Yeah, I do pick up vinyl when I see them. I picked up a load of them the other day at the Goodwill. Some modern stuff and some harder to find things. I agree with you. They're hard to find at the Goodwills, but when I do find them, I pick them up. And then lastly, from the stuff that I picked up from my store that this guy brought in, he brought in this box of weird VHS and movies, and I had to pick this up. This is Fenris Unchained, made with 2 scoops of violence. This is not a good movie. This is a really bad independent movie. It was no budget, very, 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 very low budget. It has like 1 or 2 things that I thought were interesting. Everything else was really boring. We sat through the whole thing last night, 90 minutes. Most of the time, runtime, we were talking about politics and religion and philosophy, my buddy Steve and I, because this was really, really boring. And I don't know what's going on the cover. It doesn't reflect what goes on in the movie at all. it tries to be a fantasy movie without any real special effects or anything. It's not great. I'm kind of glad to have it because it's a genre film on no budget, independent, like local film that was made in Wisconsin. And I think that's interesting to have in the collection. So I'm happy to have it in the collection, but not a very good movie. Yep, thank you, Warm Sunny. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a sore throat. It's all right. Nothing I can't handle. Let's see. So we picked up a couple. I picked up a couple Iron Maiden. How do you say, like, figures here? This is Cyborg Eddie, Somewhere in Time Cyborg Eddie figure here, and I picked this up because it was worth like $30-40. I picked it up for $5, and this I think came to $10, but it's a brand new and sealed Fear of the Dark. There's an Eddie's 1/24 scale figurine, collector's patch, and the CD in here. This goes for easily $40 to $50 as well, and I got this for $10, so not bad. That'll make most of the money that I spent today back. Sydney Eubanks, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just getting started on the pickup video here, or the pickup overview. What's up, Jolly Good? Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, all my regulars coming back. And to all the new people, if you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you can tune in each week when I do these. I actually have COVID right now. Got it a few days ago from being at the grocery store, and I also have the flu, and I'm also a diabetic, so I'm in a lot of stress right now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My advice to you is to rest and drink tons of water. Just chug water all the time. People underestimate the power of water. We are water. Everything is water. Drink water. It will help you feel better. I can't guarantee that. I'm not a doctor, but drink a lot of water. Just water. Nothing else. Alright, and as you guys know, a lot of these I picked up to bring to the video game shop because for those that don't know, I get consignment there. So I buy a movie for $1, I sell it for $4, I make $2.50, the boss makes a little bit, everybody's happy. And so that is 7. I know stuff like that will move no problem. Same thing here, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Been doing really well selling the VHS at the store, and I'm glad to see people excited about it. Iron Maiden Fear of the Dark, an okay album. Not the best, I agree. I'm more of a, Somewhere in Time. I love Somewhere in Time. That was a great album. What is your favorite Nickelodeon movie? Ooh. Snow Day comes to mind. That was a good one. Good Burger, the original Good Burger was a good one. Hey Arnold, the movie. I'm forgetting one. Rango was really good. Off the top of my head, that's what I could say. In the words of Bruce Lee, be water, my friend. Yes, be water. I agree with that. We are water. Alright, so next up we got Chernobyl Diaries. Why did I pick this up, even though I've talked about it on the channel countless times, how much I disliked this film the first time? Well, that's why. I've only seen it once. We'll give it another shot. If I hate it, bring it to the game shop. I'm sure somebody will get some enjoyment out of it. Next up we have a copy of Convoy, the old Sam Peckinpah film from 76, 77, somewhere around there. Let's see. Nickelodeon is not the same as when we were kids. That's for sure. Perry Fan says, Afraid to Shoot Strangers is my favorite from that album. Afraid to Shoot Strangers. Okay, yeah. From Somewhere in Time. I'm not good with song titles, but I have listened to the album in its entirety multiple times. So, let's see. So yeah, Convoy, starring Chris Christopherson, Ali MacGraw, a fine Ali MacGraw, Ernest Borgnine, Burt Young, a great cast here, directed by Sam Peckinpah. This is from Cheesy Flicks, so not the best release. There's actually another copy of Convoy that I found at the same shop, believe it or not. We picked up Messengers Part 2. Now, I'm looking up in my collection just to make sure. I don't think I have this. And no, I do not have this. So I have the first film with Kristen Stewart on Blu-ray. And Messengers 2 is one that I've definitely wanted to check out, because I like the first Messengers film. I saw it in theaters back in the day by the Pang brothers. I think it's a pretty good movie. And this one's called Messengers 2, The Scarecrow. Sydney Eubanks, question. Name some movies about mental illness that hits you the hardest, if any. Ooh. Sling Blade is one of my favorite movies of all time. I would say that one. It's not a movie that delves into what it means or is like to have a mental illness, but it's a character with a mental illness that is navigating his surroundings in a incredibly dark Southern Gothic fashion. Sling Blade is amazing. Some call it a Sling Blade, I call it a Kaiser Blade. It's on Fear of the Dark. Let's see. iCarly was a good Nickelodeon show. Miranda Cosgrove did not like being on Nickelodeon at all. I wonder why. Perry Fan says Patch Adams, second half of the movie. There you go. The Messengers, 2. The Scarecrow, the beginning of the end. The Shining Ghost Country. Bloodier than the first film. That's good to hear. Martini Barnovitz directed this film. Nice hard R rating. Looks like some practical effect goodness. Excited to have found that one out in the wild. Here we have a copy of King Kong, either to sell. This used to fetch a little bit online. If it doesn't anymore, that's okay. I'll bring it to the shop. Something like that I know will sell. This is the 76 one, starring Jeff Bridges, directed by John Gillerman. I actually still haven't seen the 76 King Kong, believe it or not. I've heard great things about it. That's not what's deterring me. It's just a time. I've seen close to 5,000 movies at this point. I haven't chosen to sit down and watch King Kong yet. This one is really cool. I've yet to look into any of these guys, so everything I'm saying and talking about is kind of off the cuff here, as usual. Dan Schneider produced all of the Nickelodeon shows like iCarly and Drake. Yeah, I bet Dan Schneider did. That's all I'll say on that. But this one's really cool. 4 feature films on one disc. What caught my attention about this is that these are a gaggle here of 30s and 40s, what seem to be dramas, crime films, etc., sort of noir films. But the cool thing is, all I see is black actors on the front and on the back. They should have marketed it in a certain way, like black films from the 30s, because there's not many of those. I have a few sets, like Black Entertainment, a set that was put out by Mill Creek, which has like a dozen black productions, meaning predominantly black productions. So black actors, maybe a black director, writer, etc., black cast, black crew. He was a creep on Nickelodeon. Yes, I'm well aware. They're all creeps. Newsflash. Newsflash. They're all creeps. The girl in room, separate the art from the artist. It's the only way to proceed, in my opinion. Criticize the artist, critique the art, appreciate the art, take what you can from it. Because we're in a time where a lot of dark things are being uncovered about a lot of people that people looked up to or supported. So, yeah, think for yourself and understand that they all have skeletons in their closet. This is a historical fact. It repeats itself over and over and over. The people in power are always super creepy. And our system allows many different sectors and pockets of power. Thus, we have many, 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 many creepy people running institutions and big companies. Moving forward, the girl in room 20, son of Ingagi, in this sci-fi thriller, a newlywed couple is visited by a strange old woman who harbors a shocking secret about the young girl's father. The Girl from Chicago, and Lying Lips. So these are all films from the 30s and 40s, like I said, and I'm intrigued by it because all I see on the front are black actors. And this is even some sort of a monster here of some kind. So I really don't know what these are, but I think this is one of the coolest things I picked up today by Platinum. Very happy to have that in the collection from a historical film standpoint. Here we have some VHS, Lady Hawk. Got these for 50 cents. Smokey and the Bandit. These are all going to the shop. I don't collect these kinds of VHS. This one I'm keeping. I'm pretty sure, unless I have it. Oh, I do have it. Excellent. I have a Region B one of this. So, and this is like an burnt on demand one by Cheesy Flicks. So I'll be moving this, and it is worth a little bit. That is The Day of the Triffids, the old British science fiction film from '62 that follows, what, like man-eating monstrous trees, if I'm not mistaken? And so one that I've yet to see, I have the remake that they did as a miniseries, and I have the original. I'm looking at their Region, PAL Region DVD there. Next up, this snuck its way into my stack. I couldn't pass this up. Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. You know, monster versus metal. Yeah, why not? It's an Asylum film. I give these a shot every once in a while when I just want to shut my brain off and try to enjoy just a stupid B movie, which is exactly what Asylum produces. Some better than others, some more entertaining than others. Hopefully this one has plenty of Mega Shark and Mecha Shark. Warm Sunny says, I miss Blockbuster video stores. Everything is now streaming. Yes, yes, I agree. You'll be in good company here, Warm Sunny. I talk about these things often. And, you know, I miss the old mom and pop movie shops myself. I wasn't a Blockbuster kid growing up, because when I was growing up in the 90s, we had plenty of mom and pop options. And so back then, we were very cognizant up in Connecticut of supporting those places as opposed to the big chains. And that's what we did. And I still try to do that to this day. Next up, we have Meet the Parents on DVD, VHS, which is probably, it's a later VHS. A little bit harder to find. Not worth much, I'm sure, but here we have a horror film called Backwoods, a weekend retreat where no one returns. Sort of a wrong turn, rip-off kind of thing going on, starring Hilary Duff's sister, I guess, Haley Duff. I remember Haley Duff from back in the day. And, yeah, so this one's directed by Marty Weiss. I don't know much else about it. It looks okay from the back. You know, I'm going to pick up a horror movie from the aughts that I haven't heard of. This one's from '08. We'll give Backwoods a shot. Here we have Ben-Hur, the VHS. Brand new and sealed, actually. Very cool. Do I have Blue's Clues from '96 on VHS? No, I do not. I did, when Blue's Clues came out, I was a little too old for it. I was born in '98. But I'm not going to pretend like I didn't watch it. I watched some of it, for sure. Even when you're 8, 9 years old, you still enjoy some of those kiddie shows, like Franklin and Little Bear and stuff like that. There used to be a Blockbuster in Long Island, but I didn't go there a lot as a kid, but I used to rent VHS tapes from the library. I used to rent VHS tapes from the library as well. That shows our age jolly good. I would go to the early 90s and rent, you know, Swiss Family Robinson, my mom would show me, and Night of the Living Dead, and all sorts of great classic movies. Here we have The Man from Left Field. I'm a old baseball fan. You know, I don't follow it anymore, but I still love the game, and I love a good movie based around baseball. I thought I was born in '88. Yes, I was born in '88. You got it. Yep, you got it. Born in '88. That makes me 37. Steve Burns loved Blue's Clues because he was dealing with depression, and his brother on the show was Joe, and he took over Blue's Clues. Okay, yeah, interesting. Getting forgetful in your old age. Yeah. Yeah, it happens. What did I forget? I'm so forgetful that I forgot what I forgot, Perry fan. Did I say I was born in something other than '88? What did I say? I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to do, like, juggle this because I don't like looking to the... Usually my monitor's right in front of me, so forgive me. But yeah, The Man from Left Field is a Burt Reynolds little baseball movie here, like a Little League movie. And, yeah, like I said, I like those on occasion. This one is directed by Burt Reynolds, so that's kind of interesting. Reba McEntire's in this. And, yeah, don't know much about it, but it's released by Platinum. Sometimes, I said I was born in '98, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I was born in '88. I'm sorry, guys. '98, yeah, that's a whole decade I missed there. '88. Blue's Clues came out in '96, so I was 8. Maybe I said I was 8 and it sounded like '98. Anyway... I was 8 in '96. Next up, we have Arnold Vosloo starring in Death Train. The ride of your life could be the end of your life. This is an Image release. That's why I picked it up, because I think Image puts out decent, like, straight-to-video action movies. Let's see. When we get older, we remember what shows we watched as a kid. It's hard to remember. That's right, yeah. That reminds me, when I was 8 years old, I was too old to watch Yo Gabba Gabba. My brother grew up with that one. I still can't believe that VHS is still around after all this technology. People still do collect VHS. They do. We sell VHS very well at the video game shop that I work at. When we get older, we don't remember what shows we watched as a kid. It's hard to remember. I agree with that. Perry Fan says, yeah, I'm forgetful too, brother. I even forget so much about movies, and that's not normal for me. Yeah, well, I know that you watch a lot of movies like I do, and, you know, the details sometimes get lost, but a great movie, the gist will always stick with you. At least I'm speaking for myself here. I've seen close to 5,000 movies, so, I mean, you know, it does, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in and to store up here. But, yeah, so Arnold Vosloo was popular for 10 seconds when The Mummy came out. He was in that. And Death Train is definitely one that I think looks pretty decent. When did this come out? 2004. We'll give it a shot. Warm Sunny says another show on Nick Jr. was Bob the Builder. Yes, that was after my time, too. Here's one that never made it to DVD, at least not in America. I think there's a German DVD, but it was in German. and with no subtitles from what I could understand. So I thought that gave me license to pick up this little movie here called Beyond Forgiveness, starring Thomas Ian Griffith and Rutger Hauer. This is a Polish and American co-production, a little action movie from the mid-90s, 94, that seems to be pretty decent and has some okay reviews on Letterboxd. So give that one a shot. We have Eddie Murphy Delirious here, which is, of course, the classic stand-up by Eddie Murphy. The one where he's wearing the like, fucking all-leather red tracksuit. This thing. And this is a great stand-up, one of the great stand-ups of all time. This one and Raw. I love both of them. I can't really pick one over the other. That'll be going to the store. I already own it, of course. Here we have The Princess Bride. I know this will move quickly at the store on VHS. The Princess Bride. We have Gunslinger's Revenge. I picked this one up. I thought this was one of the fodder of Western movies that came out in the aughts. Like really crappy straight-to-video, straight-to-streaming ones. But this one actually was directed by an Italian, it seems. Has a lot of Italian names attached to it. And it came out in 1998. So this stars Harvey Keitel and David Bowie and Leonardo Pietaccioni. So I'm assuming it's in English. Yeah, it is in English. 98, Western. Probably hard to find. We'll give that a shot. What do I think of the YouTube demonetization that's going on right now? I gotta be honest, I'm not too familiar with that. The only monetization I give a shit about is mine. I make, little bits of money from ads for my live streams, and I appreciate that, all you guys, very much for watching. And that's really all I care about. I don't know what's going on with the demonetization. I guess when it starts to affect me, I will take note. But, yeah, I'm sure I have a take on it, but, Here we have The Matrix. Dodge this with a nice, pretty cool slipcover. Minimalistic slipcover there. I don't think I checked this one in the store. Perfect. All the other ones I did. But this one I picked up to bring to the shop. Of course, that's an easy sell. Alright, now we got some cool straight-to-video actioners from the 90s that I found at this little thrift shop. Now, I found this thrift shop and they were doing 25-cent movies starting tomorrow. So I spent $1 on all these, which I still think was okay. If I would have gone back tomorrow if I could, but I work all day. Mr. Bean, the Bees movie? No, not the Bees. I've seen the movie, Mr. Bean movie, and I love it. But that is another platinum release, coming with the hits today, of Raw Target. You guys remember Dale Cook? Dale Apollo Cook? Right up there with Van Damme and Seagal and Schwarzenegger. No, nobody remembers Dale Cook. I know a lot of DTV action guys. Billy Blanks, Lauren Avedon, Jeff Speakman, Jeff Wincott. A lot of names, but I have never heard of Dale Cook. So I had to pick this up. This is my kind of thing. I love finding this stuff out in the wild. Again, one of the cooler things I found today, this little DTV action movie that I've never even heard of. So, and I've never heard of the guy that's starring in it. Next up, we have The Jerk. An interesting kind of crappy cover. That one will be going to the shop because I have it on blue. Local Hero, I picked this up because it's out of print. I'm not sure if it still fetches what I think it fetches, like 15 bucks. If not, I'll bring it to the shop. No sweat off my back. This one I picked up for 7 bucks. It's worth about 15. Probably shouldn't have picked it up, but that's okay. It comes with all the extra stuff. It's a Gears of War Ultimate Edition. And it comes with the rare replay here, but I'm assuming that the rare replay thing was a code of some kind. I'm not exactly sure. I got to do some research, but still, 7 bucks. Picked it up. That's going to the shop. And here's that other copy of Convoy, actually. No, none of these came from the Salvation Army. This was a shop in Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina called Thriftronics, which is quite the name. Quite the shop name. Convoy, a bit better of a release here by Kino Lorber. I believe I do have the Kino Blu-ray release of this because I sold off multiple DVDs back in the day to fund it. This will just be more money in the pocket. And Monty Python's Meaning of Life. Brand new and sealed for $1. That'll have no problem moving at the store. 7 bucks for a rare replay. Yes, rare replay and Gears of War. But I'm not sure if rare replay is on the Gears of War disc or what. So I might have gotten burned on that. Race to Space. I picked this one up because James Woods is in it. I like James Woods as an actor. I think he's fantastic and one of the most underrated actors of the 80s and 90s. And he pops up in a lot of stuff. This one is directed by Sean McNamara. This came out in the year 2000. This seems more like a space race sort of genre, or drama, I should say, starring Alex Linz, who you would remember from Home Alone 3, I believe. Yes, Home Alone 3. And James Woods is in this as well as his father, it looks like, or something along those lines. William Devane, William Atherton, so a good character actor cast there. And I like James Woods. It's by the creator of the hit family series Even Stevens. So there you go. How long have I been doing YouTube for, if you don't... Yeah, no problem. Probably 6 years. Total, probably 12 years, or 10 years. I had a YouTube channel called Highblog TV, which is now Mikey Pixels. Feel free to check that out. I'm not a part of it anymore, and I don't think there's anything that's posted anymore. But we have a lot of stupid skits on that channel still that are fun to watch on occasion. And I've been doing the movie thing since COVID, around COVID, a little before COVID, so it's been probably 6 or 7 years. And let's see. So Stallone, Cliffhanger, of course. Can't go wrong with Cliffhanger. Gotta be honest, I prefer Home Alone 1 and 2 rather than the third movie. Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody does. I still think the third movie is pretty good. I enjoy it. I think it's very entertaining. It's written by John Hughes, and people forget that. It's got a good script. I like Alex Linz in the role quite a bit, actually. I think he strikes that balance between cute and mischievous very well. I would argue even better than Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin's never, like, adorable, like, you know, that kind of thing. Your original YouTube channel was many years ago. Yeah, I mean, we're talking 15 years ago now, plus. When I was 21, I started that, so 16 years ago. Check out Mikey Pixels, M-I-K-E-Y P-I-X-E-L-S, if you want to see young me doing stupid YouTube skits. We made a good amount of money back then, though. I'm not going to lie. Ghosts of Mars by the great John Carpenter. I don't see this on DVD very often, so I thought I'd bring it to the shop at least for a conversation piece. I'll sell somebody on that. No problemo. Run, Lola, Run, Lola Remt, as it's called in Germany. Tom Tykwer, Tykwer, I always forget that, Tykwer, directed this movie, and this was the first movie I believe he did, and it got a lot of praise. Nobody really talks about Run, Lola, Run anymore. It's got a really cool narrative style, where Lola's trying to get somewhere, and it keeps resetting, and she has to do it again. It's almost like a video game. Very influential, I would argue, and very 90s, very cool film with, what's her name? That would be in Born Identity. Let's see. Franca Potente. Really great movie. I have it on Blu-ray, so I'm covered on that. YouTube was founded in 2005. That means YouTube's anniversary is coming up next month. Yeah, that's right. Here we have Mayhem. It was still sealed. This is a mediocre Steven Yeun film here. Samara Weaving. I watched it because of her. I really love Samara Weaving in anything she does. She's beautiful and awesome. Joe Lynch directed this one. Joe Lynch is pretty hit or miss for me. Usually miss, I gotta be honest. Ferris Bueller's Day Off for $1. Here we have another straight-to-video action movie that came out in what seems like the 90s. It says 01 on the back. I would be surprised if it's from 01. Jalal Murray directs this one. Could be from 01. Of PNM Entertainment, who put out countless action movies in the early 90s. A lot of straight-to-video stuff that I still adore. PM kind of took up the mantle of Canon Films. Canon Films, it reigns throughout the 80s and starts to dwindle in the early 90s. PM Entertainment does take over, in my opinion, and produces a bunch. New Image and PNM Entertainment deliver a lot of really fun straight-to-video action movies. This one stars David Bradley, at least somebody who I've seen a couple films. I've seen a couple of David Bradley's films. Not this one, that's for sure. And it's called Crisis. So, yeah, another DTV action movie. These are hard to find. I've always said, if I had the money to start a boutique label, my label would focus on DTV action movies from the 90s. First YouTube video ever was me. Wow, yeah, that's interesting. Here we have Kundun. This is a Scorsese film put out by Kino Lorber from 1997. I have this on DVD, I'm sure. Maybe I even have it on Blu-ray. I got to double check. But once I double check, I will determine if I'm moving this at the store or online. I got to figure out how much it's worth. Bang the Drum Slowly. I think this is a bit of an underrated and forgotten Robert De Niro performance here with the great Michael Moriarty. I love Michael Moriarty. The two of them are great in this movie. I haven't seen this since I was a teenager, but I was a big Yankee fan growing up. And so I tracked this down when I was young. I was a big Robert De Niro fan and a big Yankee fan. So this was the marriage of the two. And yeah, this was a great movie from 1974, so very early Robert De Niro. Here we have The Ring, of course, the 2001 remake of, or 2003, was it? 02. Remake of The Ring, a film that I adore. I love the Japanese one slightly more, but this one's a very, very close second. It's right on its coattails. Alright, so not to get super nerdy, but I'm a fan of premillennial dispensationalist eschatological cinema, especially genre. And that's just a fancy way of saying films like The Omen. Anytime you have an antichrist figure and, you know, mythical Christian forces at play, The Omen is an example of this. Left Behind is an example of this. I like these kinds of Christian mysticism films. And this is a series, I don't think this is the same series as Left Behind. Maybe it is. There's two concurrent series. One that's Left Behind and one I thought was this one. This is from the makers of Left Behind. So yeah, I got to do a little research because I got to figure out which ones I need and which ones I don't. This one has Mr. T. So, end of the world, premillennial dispensationalism. Give it to me in my veins. Here we have Universal Soldier, The Return. This is the sequel to the classic Universal Soldier film with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. We lose Dolph Lundgren in this one, but we gain a Michael Jai White, which is great. And I like Michael Jai White even better. I think he's more physical. I don't know. I'm not a huge Dolph Lundgren fan. I've tried over the years many, many times. I grew up watching his movies, but they never stuck with me like JCVD and Seagal. But this one is the sequel that nobody really likes. I like this movie. It's stupid. It's loud. It's bombastic. It's got, you know, new metal music while action takes place. It's ridiculous. Here we have Return to Peyton Place. I don't know much about this. It seems more of a romance, but I couldn't leave it behind. It's 20th Century Fox put this out from '61, directed by Jose Ferrer. That's really the main reason I picked this up, was because I know the director and he's done work that I like. Here we have a film. I got to do some more research, but I don't think this made it to DVD. This is Maximilian Schell in Peter the Great, the epic saga of a true visionary. I'm a big history buff. And to see anything like this is 380 minutes. What a film. This must have been either a really long film or it was a miniseries of some kind. I need to do some outstanding miniseries. There you go. Winner of 3 Emmys. So that's really awesome. I doubt this ever made it to DVD. I need to verify that, though, before I add this to the collection, we'll say. 21st Century Fox. Next up, I couldn't leave this behind either for 50 cents. I'm a nostalgic Yankee fan. The 2000 Subway Series, it was a different time. It was a simpler time when we paid attention to... there wasn't so much going on in the world. It was before internet, right at the cusp of the dawn of the internet. And I'm very nostalgic for this time. And this was a big, big deal where I grew up. I grew up in the metropolitan area of Connecticut, Stamford, Connecticut, which was a hop, skip, and a jump from both of these stadiums, Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium. And I used to go to Yankee games every other week for a couple of years. I was a huge Yankee fan. I'd hop on the train. Sometimes I'd skip school, and I'd hop on the train and go see a Yankee game, sit in the bleachers. It was a good time. And in the year 2000, both the Mets and the Yankees made it to the World Series, and we spanked them, I think, in five games, was it? If I'm not mistaken. I forget exactly how it went. But this was a big deal because one of my father figures in my life, his name is Dave. He's still around. We don't live near each other, but he lived in my house for a long time. He was my family's friend and my godfather and a very good friend of the family, and I love him deeply. And he was a big Mets and Yankees fan. He always balanced the love, for both teams. But I was a diehard Yankee fan. Fuck the Mets kind of thing, And so when this happened, it was a big deal. I was 12 years old. We all gathered around the TV to watch this epic, momentous World Series between the two between the two New York teams. There was nothing like it. There'll never be anything like it. It was quite the time to be alive. And we spanked them. Everybody knew the Mets were going to get spanked. The Yankees were on top of the world at that point. And they sure did. Dave wanted it to go 7 games. I was like, done in 4. It was done in 5, I think. But here we have Justice League, Zack Snyder. Going to the shop. This one, Ethan Frome, based on the classic literature, the classic novel. This one I picked up because of Liam Neeson. I'm a simple man. I see Liam Neeson in a starring role, I take the plunge. Here we have Relative Strangers. You can't pick your parents. Danny DeVito, Kathy Bates play a couple. That's going to be exciting. And Ron Livingston and Nev Campbell play the younger couple. Greg Gliena? I don't recognize the director. Do I recognize the writers? No, I don't. From the creator of Meet the Parents. Okay, so there you go. But I never heard of this one. Came out in 2005. We'll give it a shot. I like Danny DeVito and Kathy Bates. So the two of them together as like what seems to be like white trash kind of characters. Miranda Cosgrave was very creeped out with Dan Schneider because he kept getting close to her and touching her. That's creepy. I'd rather not talk about pedophilia today. Sorry, Warm Sunny. I try to keep things light here. And this one, not last but not least, but this was one of the last DTV action movies I found at the same thrift shop. I was hoping they'd have, loads of them, but they only had a few. This one is directed by Jay Wolfel, and it is called Iron Thunder, and it has some dude very poorly punching another dude on the back, where man and metal converge. The U.S. military has just developed the most advanced combat and the Iron Thunder. This one came out in 2001, it seems. Military weapons controlled by the human mind. Fuck yeah. Sign me up. Next up, we have Norma Ray and Working Girl. This is out of print because of Norma Ray. Norma Ray is hard to find. So I think I could get a little bit out of that one. We have The United States of Leland. I picked this up based on the cast alone and the fact that it's a crime film to some extent. It came out in 2004. Stars Don Cheadle, Ryan Gosling, Chris Klein, Jenna Malone, Leno Lynn, Kevin Spacey, Michelle Williams. So an expert cast. I mean, a very good cast. And a shaggy-looking brunette Ryan Gosling here. What's this? 15-year-old stuns his quiet suburban community with a chilling crime. He's sent to juvie where he meets Pearl, a teacher and aspiring writer who dreams of making Leland's compelling story into book. As Pearl digs deeper into Leland's life and the people caught up in it, his mother and his famous writer father, blah, blah, blah. Tables soon turn when the Anabat teen forces Pearl to examine his own morally questionable behavior. Interesting. Sounds cool. Do you have any Robin Williams movies that you have in your collection or any Jim Carrey? Well, of course, I have pretty much all of Robin Williams movies and all of Jim Carrey's movies for the most part. I love both of those actors very much. They're two of my favorite actors for sure. I love everything that they're in. And two actors that can do goofy comedy but also can counterweight that with a deep, nuanced, dramatic performance or even a drama comedy performance. Most of them do. But they could do anything. I just rewatched The Truman Show, one of my favorite films of all time. Holds up remarkably well and prescient in a lot of ways, philosophical ways, and it's a beautiful movie. And Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Of course, I love Dumb and Dumber. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time. Here we have Sicario. That one's going to the shop. Goon. I think I have this on Blu-ray. If I do, I'll be moving this. But I still want to see this comedy. Very Canadian-looking comedy here called Goon with Sean William Scott. I've heard very, very good things about this movie. So Evan Goldberg and Jay Baruchel write this, the co-writers of Superbad and Pineapple Express. So that's awesome. Yeah, I do need to see Goon. Arthur. Yes, I did grow up from Arthur. I did grow up with Arthur, I should say. That was a great show before school back in the day. Here we have a film that I've always wanted to check out. It's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Rosario Dawson, Thomas Jane, Mickey Rourke, Diane Lane. Quite the cast. It's called Kill Shot. And it's based on an Elmore Leonard novel. And I like Elmore Leonard's other books turned into movies like 310 to Yuma. And Kill Shot is one that I remember looking up back in '08 when it was coming out, and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good. When Mickey Rourke was doing like The Wrestler, and he was in the talks of, you know, a lot of awards talk and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I want to see Kill Shot. So I gotta check that one out. Here we have Merle Haggard. This one goes for like $15, so I figured I'd pick it up and sell it. The old country western singer. Did you ever watch the Ellen DeGeneres show? She was a comedian. Yeah, not my thing. Otherwise, elementary school kids appeals to Arthur preschoolers too. Yes, it does. For sure. All right, we have Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Going to the store. Here we have River's Edge. I do own this movie on Blu-ray, so I don't need the Kino release here. Nice to find a few Kino releases today. I've been finding a lot of them. That'll be going to the shop probably. I could probably get 10 or 15 for that. Next up, this is a movie that has been asked for, actually, at the shop, and I found a copy of it. Small Soldiers. I have this on Blu-ray. I love this movie. Joe Dante. Here we have Tom and Jerry Spotlight Collection, Volume 3. I think I'll probably keep this around. We'll see. A Hobo's Christmas. I remember when I was doing a deep dive into Christmas movies to watch last December, or last month, I came across this one from the late 80s called A Hobo's Christmas with Bernard Hughes and Gerald McRaney, and I added it to my watch list. Didn't get around to watching it last December, or last month, but now that I have a physical copy of it that comes with like a music CD, Christmas music CD, which is funny. So yeah, I love Christmas movies. I love finding ones that are sort of underrated or hidden gems. Hopefully that'll be one. Curious George, a little bit when I was growing up, a little bit. Not as much as some. I like the Pink Panther a little bit better than Tom and Jerry. I mean, I used to love Tom and Jerry. Me too. I used to very much so love Tom and Jerry and the Pink Panther, for that matter. Still do. I still enjoy these things. I'm a big kid. Here we have another Christmas film that I wanted to watch last December, but I couldn't find a good copy, and that's Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. This is Richie Rich sequel, essentially. That was a Christmas movie. And, yeah, that's about all I know about it. Richie Rich was an old comic, Archie comic, I want to say, that got made into a movie, Richie Rich. I don't think it was the same kid. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was the same kid. Either way, this is the sequel to it, and it's a Christmas movie. So I have a feeling this one's a little harder to find. I haven't looked it up yet. Remember, keep in mind. Have it on DVD. Nice. Here we have Ghost Dog, a film I still need on the Blu-ray. But I picked up this DVD to sell at the store. If it's worth more, maybe I'll sell it online. I'm not exactly sure, but what a cool movie. Very influential movie for me when I was growing up. Once I watched this, I was compelled to write a story about a hitman. Once I had played the game Hitman and watched Ghost Dog, I was like, ooh, I want to write a story about a hitman. So I did. I never finished it, but got like 10 pages in. What was your favorite Nickelodeon TV show in the 90s? Ren and Stimpy is probably #1, but Hey Arnold and Rugrats and Doug are all in that milieu. And then you have the live-action stuff like Legends of the Hidden Temple. Nick Arcade was my absolute favorite growing up. Here we have a sealed copy of Norma Ray. So that'll fetch me a nice little penny. Then I picked these up because they were $2 a piece, so I didn't want to leave them behind. I could bring them to the shop, make my money back, and a little bit more. That's Arrival. Lonesome Dove on Blu-ray, which is a little harder to find. Mill Creek one. The Chosen, Season 1. I'm interested in the show. I like biblical epics, and this is a television version of a biblical epic, the story of Christ. And, yeah, I might keep this one around. Whole Season 1 on Blu-ray for $2. This was probably the coolest Blu-ray find that I had at this Thriftronics shop. That is Quo Vadis. Quo Vadis is in the panoply of biblical epics at the time. This isn't it's not biblical, even though it deals. I'm pretty sure it deals with Nero. Let me read a little bit here before I start talking. Colosseum. Yeah, it's old Rome, so it's Nero's Rome. Peter Ustinov plays Nero, and Nero was famously heavy persecutor of Christians at the time when Christianity was beginning to flourish and attempting to spread. The very beginnings of the beginning of Christianity as we understand it after Christ's death. And so, let's see here. So Nero, I want to say, is reigning around the time of, what, 80, 90 AD, somewhere like that. So we're talking like 50, 60 years after his death. Let's see. Presiding over all is Nero. He is Caesar, madman, murderer, and imperial ruler of the spectacularly doomed glory that was Rome. Yeah, so we've got Colosseum, martyrdom of Christians thrown to the lions, magisterial pageantry, massive spectacle, 30,000 participants, 110 speaking parts. They don't make them like this anymore. And Quo Vadis is not one that's brought up in the same breath as movies like Ben-Hur and Ten Commandments, movies that I adored, those biblical, historical epics of the like we don't get anymore. We just don't get them. We just don't. There's nothing quite like this. The beauty, the color, the scale, the scope, the set design, the acting. There's just nothing like it. Before Gladiator, before Ben-Hur, there was Quo Vadis. So really, really happy to find this 3-hour epic starring Robert Taylor as Nero, I believe. Deborah Kerr, Leo Genn, Peter Ustinov. This is awesome. I need to watch this very soon. I'm sure I had learned about this film in the past, but I had forgotten about it. So I'm discovering this now. 1951, amazing to find for $2. And then I picked up this The Men Who Built America. And I think this is a docudrama, if I'm not mistaken, that follows post-Civil War, sort of the golden age, quote-unquote, of American industrialism and the Industrial Revolution, etc. Ford, Rockefeller, Carnegie, Morgan, Vanderbilt. A lot of people that I have very negative viewpoints of because they were greedy bankers and institutionalists and warmongers and powermongers. But I want to see how they're portrayed in this, if it's a nice objective take or if it's a very American take, if you catch my drift. In my personal opinion, Kablam is a lot better than Hey Arnold because these shows came out. Yeah, I mean, hey, fair enough. I loved Kablam too, but Hey Arnold spoke to me. I was a city kid, and I don't know, it spoke to me in a way that Kablam didn't. Kablam was very all over the place. There were different segments, which I really appreciated, but Hey Arnold's a very different show, you know? Hard to compare them, I guess, is what I'm saying. And lastly, guys, this is last but not least, The Descent. And this one is going to the shop as well. So at least we finished strong with Quo Vadis here. Such a cool movie to find. Can't wait to look these up and see what they're going for, what people are saying about them. Warm Sunny asked, did you hear that TikTok might become the new YouTube one day and YouTube might change its name? No, I didn't hear that. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'm not worrying about those things right now, unfortunately. Or fortunately for me. Anyway, guys. I love you all. Thank you so much for coming out to these weekly live streams. I'm trying to still come up with some sort of structure. Oh, we have one more thing. Let's see if I can rip this open with my claws. Yes, I can. That was rather easy. Deceivingly easy. All right, and last but not least, the pickup for the day that I picked up because I sold off a few DVDs. And that is, to quote Freddie Gibbs, one of my favorite modern rappers, 25th and Jackson, I'm back in action like Carl Weathers. Action Jackson. I'm glad to have... I didn't know this came out on Blu-ray. I've had the full-screen DVD for years and years and years. I like Action Jackson. I can't wait to watch it how it was meant to be watched. Directed by Craig R. Baxley, a director that I really enjoy, his action movies from the 80s and 90s. And I'm a big Carl Weathers fan. I wish he took off as an action star. That would have been really cool. He didn't. This was his shot, and didn't really go anywhere, even though it's a good action comedy. We have Craig T. Nelson, Vanity, Sharon Stone, and Thomas F. Wilson. Thomas F. Wilson you would know from Biff as Biff from Back to the Future. Music by Herbie Hancock and Michael Kamen. Two people I really like. I love their music, so that is a great sign. I can't wait to watch Action Jackson again. It's been 20+ years, and I remember liking it, but hating that it was in full screen and I couldn't see the full picture. But with all that said, guys, thank you so much for coming out to this live stream. I will see you all very soon. I'll be doing another one next week, probably Thursday, which is my only day off, so it's the only day I can really do anything like this. And is Small Soldier stop motion? I'm not sure. No, it's more CG. Very well done and well conceived, well shot CG. But thank you all for checking this out. I hope to see you guys next week, so tune in then. Until then, feel free to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like it. Check out some of the Thrifting shorts I've been putting out and some of the archived live streams if you missed those. And hit that thumbs up button for me, guys. That really helps me with the algorithm. The algorithm hates me. The algorithm hates people that think for themselves and talk about movies that they want to talk about, not what the algorithm wants you to talk about. So that's the channel for you. I hope all the newcomers today enjoyed what they saw. Feel free to tune in next week. I will see you all next time, guys. Bored Cyborg is out. Peace!